Hey guys, Dylan from Noble Records coming at you with another video. Every single year I do this video and I look forward to it. Love doing it. And it's the the rarest, most valuable records in my collection, whatever. I think I've done it 4 or 5 times. This is my 6th year with a YouTube channel. So every year I try to do it a little bit different. I think the first year I just did like according to Discogs. And then the second year I did like what I thought were the most expensive ones, because Discogs is sometimes right, sometimes wrong. And then I know last year I did top 100, and I just went through them real fast, the top 100 most valuable. So those are all fun videos. But as collecting changes and every year you get deeper and deeper and deeper in the hole, and you find more things, the top 10 at least is always changing. So this year I think the top 10, 20 is almost totally different than last year. So I've got my laptop here. I'm going to share some data. This year the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to do it according to Discogs. So I'm going to tell you according to Discogs which ones are the most valuable, what I think about that, and then at the end I'm going to do honorable mentions, because I have records that aren't on Discogs that are worth more than all these probably. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Give me a like, give me a thumbs up, whatever. It's all about engagement for me. The reason I do this is just to be involved in the community and have conversations and things like that. So that's how we keep in touch. So keep in touch. Also, we have a record store in Matthews, North Carolina called Noble Records, where we buy big collections, recommend records, things like that. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at Noble Records. And we actually just started a record label too, if you want to follow that one on Instagram as well. That's at Noble Record Label. So anyways, little disclaimer, a lot of times every year when I do this, I get people that comment and they say, oh, this guy's so greedy. This is just about money and so what? Nobody cares and all this stuff. But then a lot of people engage with the videos. They say, hey man, thanks for recommending this to me, because there's reissues on most of this stuff. And so the reason I do this is kind of share my love for records. I love these records. I'm not selling these records to anybody. It doesn't really matter to me that they're worth this much money, because I really like these records. It's just kind of a topic of conversation. There's other records that are not worth nearly this much that I like more, probably. But just so you know, I am a collector first and foremost. I love these records. None of these records came from my store, my brick and mortar store. This is all things I sought out on my own, traded with friends, things like that. So it's important to know. I want you guys to know my heart on this. It is not all about money for me. I love these records, and it's just a fun topic of conversation. So we're going to keep it light, tell you what Discogs has to say, talk a little bit about rare records, and have some fun. I collect a lot of weird stuff, psych rock, funk, some of this stuff in this stack. There's like maybe 2 or 3 records that everybody knows, and then the rest of them are kind of oddballs. So we'll get started with number 20. This record is called Crystal. Really great record out of Louisville, Kentucky. It's real lo-fi, really good guitar lines in there. It's got a little bit of a folk vibe too. This is in the shrink wrap, near mint condition. It's as nice a copy as you could probably get. I got it from a very good friend of mine. It is a beautiful copy, and it's one of my favorite psych records. We did an exclusive release of this in our store a while back, so we did a limited edition, like yellow vinyl. I think we did 500 of them. They sold out. It's just a great record. Look at that cover. Beautiful stuff. So Discogs, the median Discogs is $935.44. The most it's ever sold for is $1,620. So this one being like a super clean copy, I think it's probably worth a little bit more than $935. But who's to say? They never come around this clean. It's a great copy. And if you like things like Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, you'll love this record. It's really cool. Check it out. I feel like you can stream it. Next one, number 19, is Relatively Clean Rivers. So this is number 19. Discogs says that the median is $939.99. This one is exceedingly rare. The most it's ever sold for on Discogs is $2,199. So $2,200 is the most it's ever sold for on Discogs. If you check Pop Psych and stuff, it's gone for that as well. So I think this one's actually a lot closer to the top. But this one is a little bit like the last one, it's got that West Coast late 60s psychedelic vibe to it. That same like Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, kind of that roots rock and roll into the psychedelia, you know. But it is an absolutely incredible record. I love this record so much. I listen to it very regularly. And this is a near mint copy. Absolutely beautiful copy. So this clocks in at number 19. Through the course of this video, I'll kind of explain. Discogs is when it comes to rare stuff, Discogs is almost never correct because so few examples come up for sale that it's hard to gauge. And like somebody throws a trashed one up and it's going to tank the median, you know what I mean? So, and we'll go through that kind of as we get going here. But next one, number 18, is Stone Harbor Emerges. This is a really cool, it's kind of like a lo-fi psychedelic thing as well. Private press, extremely rare. Discogs has it at the median at $972.83. The max it's ever sold for is $14.89. It's somewhere in there. That's about right, actually. It's you know, I've seen them go like privately $1,200, something like that. But it's a very nice copy, super clean. And one thing to consider, and I'll talk about this later as well, is that a lot of these records, they don't, like when you get this collectors that are really deep into it, they don't deal on Discogs and eBay and stuff. They deal privately. Like most of these records I didn't buy on eBay or Discogs. I bought them from friends and traded and stuff like that because, you know, there's no need to involve the internet, you know, when it comes to stuff like that. So number 17 is Irish Coffee. This is an absolute killer record from Belgium. Really killer hard rock. A very tough record, extremely hard to find. Discogs has a median at $978. The most it's ever sold for was $2,060. Irish Coffee. It is, if you know, you know. If you like that super heavy early 70s hard rock, that's what this is. And it is a beautiful copy. I got that. I did buy that one on eBay a few years ago. It was like middle of the night auction and I got it for a steal. Crazy. Just got really lucky. Number 16 is, shockingly, the Beatles' White Album. This is the, they call it the Lost George Harrison White Album. This is the mix that was rejected. So this is a U.S. press. I did a whole video about it. I'll put like a little banner right here of where that video goes. But it's a whole about this extremely rare cut of this album that was thought not to exist for a long time. And then somebody found a copy, and that copy went for like thousands of dollars. And then they were, you know, for a long time they thought there's only this one copy of it, and then a few other copies popped up here and there. That being said, you know, the median is $999 because only one has ever sold on Discogs. I don't know that it's really worth that much money. It's a very clean copy. It's very nice. I mean, I don't really know that it's worth that much. I think you have a hard time finding somebody that would want to buy it for that much, but that's what Discogs says. I have it in my collection because we found it. I don't even know where it came from. It was just in the back of the back room of the shop, and we're going through and just pricing things out, and we're like, whoa, what the, I mean, I don't even know where it came from. But anyways, and so I brought it home, listened to it. It's kind of a cool artifact to have, but I don't know that it's really worth $1,000. Let me know in the comment section. Number 15 is Freddie Terrell's Soul Expedition. The Discogs median is $1,000. Most it's ever sold for is $1,400. Least it's ever sold for is $950. So this is a really rare funk album from Atlanta. There's this funk group in Atlanta that was playing around, and like on Sundays and stuff, they would play in a church, and then like at night they would play in like nightclubs and stuff like that. And the pastor of the church bankrolled them to record this album. It got, I mean, there's probably 1,000 copies or less of this out there, but it's really funky, really good, from Atlanta. I did have like some Led Zeppelin box sets and stuff that I didn't put in here because it's more than one record. So I've got that Classic Records Led Zeppelin Volume 1 box set, and it's got the first 4 Zeppelin. You know, that's actually supposed to be next, but I didn't put it in this video. The next one is the Invaders, Spacing Out. This is a killer funk record from Bermuda. 1970. The Discogs median, this is $1,000. It is an absolutely incredible record. If you like Booker T and the MGs, that kind of soul funk type of feel, the meters, stuff like that, that is what this is. Instrumental funk, and it is tight, really good rhythm, amazing stuff. But this is a tip-top shape copy. Most ones ever sold for is $1,978. This, I cannot imagine there being a cleaner copy of this. This is a super, super clean copy. So Discogs median is $1,000 on that one. It is a, man, that is a record right there. Very good one, really hard to find. Number 13 is Mouse, Lady Killer. This is 1973 UK hard rock, super rare. If you like the, soaring guitar solos, that type of thing, which everybody does like that, that's what this is. It's a really, really good record. The Discogs median is $1,010. Most it's ever sold for is $1,420. It is a cooker. It is a great record, hard to find. Not a lot of people will know about Mouse. Next one is McPhee. This is an absolute killer hard rock record from Australia, 1971. It is, look at the cover on that. Amazing, amazing stuff. A friend of mine in Australia found one for me and hooked me up. These like regularly sell for around $1,000. The Discogs median is $1,032. And so that's usually just about what it goes for. But man, this is an absolute killer record. If you like Toad, that record, this is another one that you probably like. Really strong guitar, great, kind of a blues bass, but hard rock, psychedelic, all that. It's out of this world. Great one. Next one is Sandstone. Can you mend a silver thread? This one, the median is $1,043. Most it's ever sold for is $1,500. This came out in 1971. It's a private press from Pennsylvania. It's a really good folk record. I feel like $1,000 is a lot for this record. I don't really know that it's worth that much, but it's a very, very, very good record. The least it's ever sold for is $420, and that was probably a bad shape copy. But anyways, it's a very good record. I have seen them come around for less than $1,000. It's not as rare as a lot of these on the list, but it just doesn't come on Discogs very much. But it's a killer record. Folk, private press, very well produced. Sandstone. This one's been on my list for a couple of years. That's one that's kind of stuck on there. All right, number 10. Getting to the top 10 here. Hickory Wind, self-titled, very good private press folk, psychedelic folk, acid folk, whatever you want to call it. 1969. The Discogs median is $1,150. Most it's ever sold for is $1,300. Least it's ever sold for is $840. So this is one a few years ago. I ended up finding this for a steal of a deal. Got it really cheap, and it's a great one. Really good if you like that acid folk psych type stuff. That's what that is. This next one is called Vindication. This is kind of a weird one. This one is 1973. Discogs median is $1,207. Most it's ever sold for is $1,800. The least it's ever sold for is $750. So it's a great one. It's an absolutely killer shape, but this is like a Christian prog record. Really heavy prog. Very, very cool. A friend of mine works in a record store a few states away and called me and said, hey, this has been on the wall forever, and he cut me a really good deal on it. But it's called Vindication. Very cool record. Another one that you don't really hear a whole lot about. Number 8. Now, this is proof that Discogs is wrong on a lot of things because there's no way this is number 8. This is way towards the top. Fraction Moonblood. This is one of the rarest, most valuable records in my collection, but beyond all that, it's one of my absolute favorites. Even if money was not a factor at all, this is the tip top for me. Fraction Moonblood is incredible. Super heavy hard rock. It's a mixture of The Doors and Black Sabbath. It's kind of the sound that I describe it. But this is the original pressing. Only 200 of these were made. Very, very, very rare. This one's in great shape. Found this a few years ago before they really skyrocketed. I mean, they've always been expensive, but I think I got it like 3 years ago, something like that. But I got a really good deal on it. But it is an absolute fantastic record. If you know Riding Easy Records, they are reissuing this year, and our store is doing an exclusive color vinyl variant of it. So we're really excited about that. That's coming up. So if you buy our exclusives and check them out, this is one that you're not going to want to miss. It is going to be so sweet. But anyways, one of my absolute favorite records. The Discogs median is $1,250. The most it's ever sold for is $6,000. And the least it's ever sold for is $34.99. Now, the thing is that somebody went on there and started selling bootlegs of this. And they would say in the description that they're bootlegs, so people know that. But it completely tanked the median. So the last one I heard of that was a clean copy. Actually, that one I think the last one I heard of was in the shrink, so it was even cleaner than this. But it went for $12,000. So I don't think this copy's worth $12,000. But I'm just saying, I've heard of them going over 10 grand. This is a very rare record, very sought after, absolutely one of my tip top favorite records of all time in any genre. It is Hickory Wind. So speaking of the exclusives, this is a good chance to tell you guys about this. Every single month we do an exclusive for our store. So if you look at the website, it's in the description of this video. Like last month we did this Samuel Prodi. There's still some of these available on the website. It is a Noble Records limited edition. You can only get this color from us. Really good quality reissues. This has got like purple with a blue tinge to it, but super heavy. If you like, that 70s Deep Purple, Black Sabbath, you would love this record. It's phenomenal. That's still on the website. And this is our latest one. This one's actually very close to selling out. This is Dragonfly, essential psychedelic rock, amazing guitar solos. This is a favorite amongst most psychedelic collectors. And our version is this green and black splatter. Again, you can only get that from us. That's our store exclusive. And these are almost sold out. So check out our website. We have a few exclusives left, but they always sell out. So make sure, if you don't want to pay thousands of dollars for all these records, that's my goal for the exclusives and my label, is I'm able to bring you some of this music and you not have to pay an arm and a leg to get it. So check the website out. Number 7 is La Revolución de Emiliano Zapata. This one is a super rare South American psychedelic rock, hard rock record. Amazing guitar solos. Look at the cover on this. Absolutely phenomenal. 1972, it came out in Mexico. The Discogs median is $1,381. Most it's ever sold for is $2,282. So it is a heavy hitter. I do collect like a lot of South American hard rock, psychedelic rock, stuff like that. This is this is definitely the most expensive one that I have in that genre. They had another record that came before this that's really good and not nearly as expensive. It's just as good as this one, I think. And so check that out. I probably put a text down here of how to spell it and all that stuff, but man, it's some good stuff. If you like psychedelic rock, hard rock, it's still that, but it has a little bit of a different flavor to it. This next one is number 6. This is the Brains Machine Underground. This one is a super rare record, 1971, psychedelic rock from Italy. The Discogs median is $1,400. Most it's ever sold for is $2,413. So this one is a really rare record. This one never comes up for sale. This is kind of a long story. But there's a whole genre called like library records. And it's like these musicians that would go in and they would record a soundtrack for a movie or a TV show or whatever. But it'd be generic. They could record music and you could use this. You could license that music and use it in commercials or movies or documentaries or whatever. This is in the 70s. And so this is in that genre, and those records ended up like, some of them are cheap and worthless, but the really good ones are worth a lot of money because they're just so rare they were never released to the public. So this is 1971. It's a library, and it is super heavy. Man, it is such a unique sound. If you like psychedelic stuff, you can stream this. It is an absolute joy. I mean, I love this record. It sounds very unique, but also has that familiar psychedelic sound, a lot of really heavy organ in it, which is, it's not the bad organ, it's the good organ. Just look at that cover. It's fantastic. I got this one last year. This is one of my favorite psych records in my collection. It's phenomenal, and it's like a perfect copy of it. So really thrilled with that one. That was number 6. Number 5 is Charmer, Your Presence Requested. This one came out in 1977. The Discogs median is $1,425. Most it's ever sold for is $1,500. The least it's ever sold for is $1,350. So it's sold a few times at that range, But it's a cool record. It's a hard rock album. So there's another rabbit hole in record collecting. There's tax scam labels. So like anywhere between like 1975 to 1978, and that's given a little bit of time on each end. It mostly happened in 1977 for some whatever reason. There was a law there was a tax law basically that a record label could make a record, and if it flopped, they get a huge tax credit or something like that. So they would make a record and then they would purposely make it flop. So they would destroy all the copies or you know, tell the government that they made a certain amount, but they didn't really. So anyways, the whole point of it was to not sell records. So these records are really rare. And if the record is really good, those could be worth a ton of money. Like, you know, the record Stonewall, we did an exclusive on that in December. That one sold out. That was a tax scam record. Those go for like 15 grand. So there's some funk ones, there's some rock ones, but this is a hard rock one called Charmer. Your Presence Requested. It's very heavy, very good. And it's just a cool tax scam label record. It's a lot of fun. That comes in at number 5. Number 4 is Hunger, Strictly from Hunger. This is an amazing, super heavy psych record. It's on Public Records. This came out in 1969. The Discogs median is $1,500. The most it's ever sold for is $2,604. The least it's ever sold for is $63. So that's again another case where somebody came in and started selling some reissues and tanked the value. But that's something that happens. But this is an absolute killer record. Great guitar, very well written. The songs are good songs. You know, some of these like private press psych stuff, it's just got a lot of really cool riffing in it, and you're like, okay, that's good. But the ones like this I love. It hits the sweet spot. Really good songs, very well written songs, pretty decently produced, great guitar solos, great vocals. I love this record. Hunger, Strictly from Hunger. If you haven't heard this, check it out. It is phenomenal. I think that Now Again has reissued this record, and it's a good reissue. I think I think they even have like a double LP that has some extra stuff on it. So that's a great one to check out. All right, number 3, the Led Zeppelin 1. Turquoise. So this record has been in my collection a couple times. I had a copy of this when I first opened my shop. I sold it so I could like buy more inventory just because I was hurting for inventory. I didn't have nearly enough records. And so when we were opening, I sold some of my guitars and my rarest records to some collector buddies of mine to just get some capital so I could buy more record collections. And so this was a casualty of that. But in the past couple years, I found another one. This was cleaner than the other one I had. It's a very, very nice copy. The story behind this is Led Zeppelin, when they released this record and they saw this jacket, they hated the blue text. So that the blue Atlantic symbol and the blue Zeppelin, and they said, recall them. We don't want that. And they did like a burnt orange, almost red, a Led Zeppelin text and everything. So the first UK pressing has that like burnt, you know, red, orange, whatever you want to call it, Led Zeppelin lettering. But the turquoise one, I've heard anywhere between 500 and 2,000 of these actually got out into the public. So they're very rare. You never see them, especially never see them clean. There's a couple like indicators to look for. The matrix numbers, there's some things. Anyways, super rare. Led Zeppelin's my favorite band, so I had to track another one down. The median is $1,528. The most it's ever sold for is $3,375. So this is a kind of if you collect Zeppelin stuff, it's super rare. But also, there's a whole underground Zeppelin like market that is crazy, and it's stuff that you've never seen before. So there's like alternate covers. Like there's some different countries that did some crazy colored vinyl and stuff like that. And this stuff is not on Discogs, like super, super rare. But I've heard of some of these like rare Led Zeppelin collectors are crazy. I've heard some of these things going for like $12,000, $15,000 because they're just super rare editions, and people that have a lot of money are obsessed with Led Zeppelin, they'll pay it. But all this stuff is off the internet. Like there's a whole world of dealers and collectors and things that it's not documented. Like it's just like word of mouth, back alley deals that like, and so you kind of have to know what those records are, what they go for. I'll talk about that a little bit more in a little bit too. So, all right, the next one, number 2, very near and dear to my heart. This is Yaura Boris. mind-blowing prog rock. If you like Yes, Gentle Giant, this is like that, but I mean, I even prefer this. It's very, very, very good. This is a very rare record. I think they only made 200 or 300 copies of this originally. The band members, so we're reissuing this record. We're using quality record pressing. If you're familiar with Analog Productions, Acoustic Sounds, all that stuff, it's an audiophile label, and they have a pressing plant where they do AAA mastering, all that stuff. So we got the original tapes of this. There's another video, I'll link it right here, of us like going through and showing the process of cutting the lacquers and all that stuff, because I went out to Kansas and visited with them and all that stuff. So it's it's going to be a very good reissue, and the reissue that we're doing is going to be the best sounding that you've ever heard this record. It's going to sound incredible. It's from the masters, all that stuff, done very well. But anyways, this is an absolute cooker of a record. The Discogs median is $2,100. Most it's ever sold for is $2,250. Least it's ever sold for is $14.99. This is an absolute mint copy. I had the shrink wrap on it. I had to take the shrink wrap off to scan it for the artwork, but it's worth it, you know. But it's a very good record, and I love it so much. That's number 2 on the list. Yaura Boris. Number 1 on the list is Atomic Forest, Obsession 77. This is a mind-blowing psychedelic rock record from India. This is said to be the first ever psychedelic record from India. It is really cool. They do a lot of awesome cover songs that sound totally different than the originals, but they have this Indian psychedelic flavor to them. It's unbelievable. But they do the Doobie Brothers, Jesus Is All Right. They do Locomotive Breath. They do, let's see, they do some Beatles stuff. They do She Was Just 17, rock and roll music. Anyways, this wasn't available to stream anywhere, so I ripped it and put it on my other channel. So if you just look for a full album rip, I have another channel where I just rip stuff that's not available and put it out there so you guys can hear it. But this is an absolutely incredible record. It's so different, but also if you like psychedelic stuff, you would love this. It is out of control, fantastic stuff. But mega rare. The median on this is Discogs median is $2,766, so $2,766.29. The most it's ever sold for is $3,932. The least it's ever sold for is $1,600. And then the only thing on Discogs that's above that is my Led Zeppelin Road case, which I'm not going to bring into the frame, but it is the most it's ever sold for is $25,000. The median is $5,425, but that's the highest on my Discogs list. So I was going to show you a few more honorable mentions that I think would be on my top 20, but they don't have any sales history on Discogs. So this is called Montgomery Express. I'll bring this up every year. This is a near mint copy, super, super clean, amazing, like funk soul from Florida. The only clean copies that have ever sold for this have both gone for over $2,000. It's a very, very rare, sought after record. One was G+, so terrible, terrible shape, and just sold for like almost $1,000. It was like $988, something like that. So this one is up there. It's just never sold on Discogs. Another one is Farm. The Discogs median is kind of low on this for some reason. I think some people sold some bootlegs or trash copies, but it doesn't ever come up for sale. Some of this stuff don't have barely any sales history, and like it last sold in like 2017. Well, the entire record market has completely changed since 2017. So that's kind of the flaw with Discogs. This one's Stark Reality, Hoagie Carmichael Stark Reality. This is a legendary funk record, like psychedelic funk stuff. I think the last copy that sold on Discogs was like $2,300 or something like that. The median on this, for whatever reason, is kind of low. Don't know why. Well, this one's a promo, so the only difference is it has this sticker. So I think the median on this is like $499, but it hasn't sold in forever. And so if you go to the regular copy that's not the promo, it's one sold for $2,300. This is a very rare sought after record. It should be on the top 20. This is George Brigman, Jungle Rot. This is another one that we're going to be reissuing this year. I think the median is $850, but this is a near mint copy. This one's over $1,000 for sure. This one, if you know this one is on Morgan Bluetown Records. This is called It is referring to a cat, and it is a psychedelic pop record, very, very rare. I think the Discogs median is like $35 because somebody sold a reissue on there and that was it. But this is a probably $1,000 record. This is D.R. Hooker, The Truth. Very rare, loungy, psychedelic rock. Very, very rare record. And on Discogs, I think the last one sold for $3,000. So super rare stuff. This one's Christopher, What You Gonna Do? This one has no sales history on Discogs, never sold on there before. This is easily, $1,500, $2,000 record. It's a garage record from South Carolina. It's fantastic stuff. I love it. This one's Witch Lazy Bones, probably the most iconic, biggest Zamrock record in existence. The median on this is like $500 or something like that. This is a super, super clean copy. There's not been a copy like this ever sell on Discogs. So I think the most it's ever gone for on Discogs is a VG copy that went for $800. But I think this one is, well over $1,500. It's a very, very rare to ever find it in playable condition where it's like super clean. The last one is PyGround, Psychedelic and Underground Music. This is another library psychedelic record. This is the rarest, probably one of the rarest records I have, if not the rarest record I have. Probably the most valuable record I have, or way, way, way up there. This is a fantastic psychedelic record. It doesn't have any sales history on Discogs, but it had, the last time it came up for sale, I think was like a few years ago. It's like 2017, 18, something like that. And it went for $6,000. So it is a very, very, very rare record. And that's on PopPsych. If you look at poppsych.com, it shows you like past eBay listings and stuff like that. So this is another one that doesn't come up for sale online ever. I didn't buy it online. Somebody that was a friend of mine was letting it go and sold it to me. So those are my top most valuable records according to Discogs. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Again, I think that there is, there's a lot of value in Discogs. I think that if you have a record that has a lot of sales history, I think the Discogs median is usually right on the money. But when it comes to something that is really rare, not really. So you kind of, like when you're pricing rare records, you can't just trust the Discogs median. You have to kind of dig a little deeper and see like how long it's been sold and check PopPsych and all that stuff. But again, it's not about the money for me. It's not that these are rare, valuable records. I'm not selling them, It's just that they're cool records that I really like, that are hard to find, that I get excited about. Us record collectors, stuff like this kind of gets us crazy and in a tizzy. So anyways, I love rare psych records, funk records, all that stuff, stuff that kind of flew under the radar. So that's what it's all about for me. I have way more records that aren't worth that much money that are just cool records that I like. So thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys next time.